Hey, this is Pam Perry, and we are here with Speakers Magazine Show, and I'm here with Ari Squires. So, technology is beautiful when it works, and when it doesn't, we just got to make a another way around. There's always a way around. So, we figured out that we will do this video, podcast, show, YouTube, and Zoom. That's fine, but Facebook Live and Zoom, they weren't talking today. So that's all right. So we still are going to bring you the information. So what I wanted to do is Ari's been featured in Speakers Magazine a couple of times. She's written some articles, but I wanted to dive deeper in terms of really getting to know who she is and her backstory and what she has coming up on Halloween. She is really a person that has a lot of organization, a lot of talents, a lot of what I call multi-passionate things that she does. I did buy her planner. I met her at PNC, but she was actually, I believe, in the magazine before PNC, or was it after? I can't remember. Power Networking Conference. And she has this planner that really helps her get organized. So I'll let you hear from Ari Squires about how she got into this space, and then you'll understand why she had to have this planner, because then when you hear her, you're going to say, guys, how did she get all that done? And she gets it done because she has this marvelous planner, and she also does self-mastery. So Ari, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pam, for having me. I'm happy to be here, and thank you guys for listening. So, I mean, just a little bit, without giving the whole story, I am just a business guru. Like, I just love everything business. For my whole entire life since I was a little girl, I've just always been this master marketer, this master salesperson, this person that knew how to get her money, right, at a very, very young age. And so it's just a part of who I am. And business and speaking and helping other people be successful in business is literally what I've dedicated and committed my life to, because of the freedom of entrepreneurship and what it has done in my life. And I know that so many other people are seeking that as well. So a long story short, I've been like doing entrepreneurship forever, but my real stint in entrepreneurship was when I opened up a dance and performing arts school. And I ran that for about 10 years to be exact, actually. And then from there, a lot of the moms and parents were asking me questions about, them starting companies. They saw this was very successful and it was great in the community. We were, assisting young girls building their confidence, but the business was very, very successful on a financial level, and on an impactful level as well in the community. And so I started just helping people. I started doing these small little business boot camps right inside the studio, the dance school during the day, and on the weekends after dance classes were over. And so it just became exciting. I was like, wow, this is so easy for me. Like, I can teach somebody how to make money so easily, right? Just really, I see money. It's always good to have somebody from the outside looking in your business, right?
Your excitement, as your excitement went up, so did your microphone. So that must be a hot spot for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So that created this author, write a book, share my knowledge in a book, right? That's what a lot of you are, authors. And then of course, being an author turns into speaking. And so then you share your knowledge with the world and speaking. And then from there, I closed my dance school and started just strictly doing business consulting, brand development, and so on and so forth. And what I realized in working with clients and speaking about this planner is that a lot of them just didn't have the right type of organization skills to just stay focused just solely on their business. We have life, we have children, we have all of these other things going on. But in order to be successful in business, you got to be consistent, but you have to be productive. You have to be able to manage your time a certain way. And so this planner is just something that I have always used. And I just took everything that I've used, financial planning, even social media planning is in there, as you see, and just really setting those goals, those big goals that I have for the year, and then breaking them down into little bite-sized pieces. And so this planner is called the Push Planner. You can get it at pushplanner.net. It allows you to do that and just stay strictly focused on your business. And it's the only planner in the market like it. So I'm really excited about it. And then we sell it to organizations in bulk, and people like you, they really enjoy it because it actually helps them.
I like it. I love it. And tell us about your book. You said that you wrote a book. So you wrote several books, and then this year you were also at Essence Fest. So tell us about that whole journey as well.
Yeah, my very first book was called Release the Chains, and it's about a woman's roadmap for finding the strength to reclaim her destiny. And what that was my story of being incarcerated, of being homeless, and having to release some chains. And so those chains for me were my circle of friends, the influencers that I had in my life that were not good for me. So that whole circle, and just releasing the not necessarily the fear, because it wasn't necessarily fear, but the limitations that I put on myself, you know,
Okay.
the lack of belief, right? And so I had to release that and believe in myself even more, and just go back to the foundation of everything I was taught from my mother, you know, go back to relearn what, you know, she taught me, that I could do anything I put my mind to, and, you know, build relationships, and, you know, work and live with integrity and be honest and show up great and all these things, right? And so that was the first book. And since then I've written so many more. I've written 10 books in
But that
total.
book actually became a movie.
Yep, that book became a film. That book has become my whole movement. I have a Release the Chains collaborative. I have like you said, a documentary. I've done 2 documentaries called No More Chains, which is about succeeding against the odds, and also mental health issues and concerns in the Black family, you know, breaking emotional, mental, and generational chains. So yeah, so now I'm going back to my roots of what I went to college for, which is being a filmmaker and just sharing stories.
And it really relates to you when you said you had a dance and dramatic art school.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
you like the whole creative art space.
Yeah, I
That
did.
some of the people in the documentary were, do we know them?
Some of the people, the last documentary, No More Chains 2, you may be familiar with Isaiah Washington. He was
Yes, of course.
He's been in so many Spike Lee films, and he's
Yeah.
still acting. He's on several shows. He has something else coming out very soon with Stars. Darren DeWitt Henson as well
No,
was
dear.
in the film.
Mhm.
He shared, was he in the first one as well? No, just the second one. Just the second film. And he, from Stomp the Yard, Soul Food, and so many other films and television shows. And then Tim and Kyle Durrett, who's on Queen Sugar right now, on the OWN network, he was also a part of the film, as well as we shared 9 other authors who, because we took this book anthology called No More Chains and we created a documentary from it. So you have those 9 authors who are sharing their amazing stories as well, you know, and so those celebrities just kind of added their input, but it's the stories within the film that make it so amazing.
Now, this is, if you all are catching this, so this is a Speakers Magazine show. And so Ari just gave you a little bit of background about how she came to where she is. Most people don't write a book, but she finished the book, she wrote the book. She then took the book and made it into 2 documentaries. She had major stars in the documentary, and she's not done yet, right? So she has this planner, she's doing business coaching, and she's saying that basically she's going back to her main passion. And so the key point of it is that what's already in you is in you, is destined. And a lot of times, if we're not really aware of our circle or the influences, the negative influences especially, that are around us, we can then go off track. But in order to get back on track, you have to just really follow your passion or follow the light, so to speak. And so kind of tell us really, I guess you would say, your secret to how you move yourself from one place to another, how that really has come about, why you want to do this conference coming up in October.
Well, it's not a conference. Let me say that.
Okay. Your event.
It's a workshop. It is definitely a workshop. But the way that I move is really pivots. You know, it's like, from one, listening to your heart. When your spirit is guiding you in a direction, you just go. You know, you just go, you don't question it, you just go. And so I live by that. And to me, I call that a part of self-mastery. Self-mastery is what has really gotten me to where I am, to build relationships in Hollywood, to build relationships with my clients or doctors and lawyers. And I'm helping them with their businesses. Like, who would have thought this little girl from the hood, just who would have thunk it, right? But it's self-mastery. It's knowing who I am, developing these habits. And what's crazy is self-mastery is the secret to every person who is majorly successful, that is their secret. They've learned, it's called self-actualization, leading ourselves, mastering our thoughts, mastering our habits, working through fear. It's just that whole thing. And it's a spiritual portion of it. There's a physical portion of it. There's an emotional part of it and a mental part of self-mastery. And so with the Self-Mastery Success Summit that I'm co-hosting actually with my mentor.
It is right here.
Yes.
Posting this up. So here it is right here.
Yes. And so people forget the soft skills in business and as speakers and authors and entrepreneurs. We want to get the money, which is fine. The money, we need the money. We do. We got to pay bills. We have to eat. And that's important. We want those skills and we want those tools and techniques, but we forget in order to sustain them, we have to become masters of ourselves. So,
that's a word. That's a word.
Yeah.
And so who do you have that is actually, I guess you would say, co-hosting this event with you?
Yeah. This particular event that I'm hosting is with my mentor, Mr. Stedman Graham. He is a phenomenal speaker, phenomenal businessman worth millions, I think 10 to 14 million dollars on his own. He's also the life and business partner of everyone that we know and love, Miss Oprah Winfrey. And I can see why she, attracted him. They attracted each other because he's a genius and he has a new book out titled Identity Leadership. And so he talks about, self-mastery and self-actualization and leading ourselves before we can lead others. And so it's going to be a very, very powerful. He's doing a 2.5-hour workshop on leadership for entrepreneurs because that's important. We have to know how to lead ourselves and know how to lead teams and things like that.
Kind of define our leadership, because a lot of times people, when you say leadership, in my mind, I may think of a leader like a president or someone head of a corporation, but define leadership, what you mean when you say leadership.
Yeah, well, leaders are not bosses, okay? A boss is someone who tells someone what to do. A leader, kind of works in partnership with you, so a leader is someone who is just kind of has the vision, but they're using their skills to incorporate a team or a group of people and leading everyone into victory. That's a leader. It's not someone who's selfish. It's not someone who wants the position of being the boss, but actually is a great listener, knows how to identify talents within other people, knows how to even identify their own talents and gifts and cultivate those as well. So that's what I see as a leader.
Okay. And someone who really is a person that knows themselves, has empathy for others, and influences others for a greater good. That's really like a visionary. It really visionary, but a visionary that actually knows how to put the activation together so that people can actually not just hear the vision, but actually do the vision. So that's
and actually jump on board with the vision too. Yes. Because that takes a very strong leader as well. If you think about some leaders who are leading great movements, you have to be able to show people and have very clarity on what the mission is and what the vision is so that people can identify themselves with the mission and the vision. And it takes a really good leader to do that. And a lot of entrepreneurs, because I've worked with over 2,000, entrepreneurs with their businesses. A lot of them are not clear with their message. And so a great leader has to be very clear and get clear with their message. So that's what we'll be teaching at the Self-Mastery Success Summit.
Do you think this is just like for Speakers Magazine? A lot of people seem to, at one point, used to always want to write a book. I want to write a book. Now it's like, I want to speak on platforms. And now, do you think leaders, in order to be a good leader, that you need to master the skill of speaking? Is that one of the key core elements, I guess you would say, or at least communicating?
My views when it comes to speaking are so different, right? I think you have to master yourself. I think you have to master your own style of speaking. I don't think that you can learn another type of style or another type of structure of speaking and copy it. I really think you have, because in order for people to connect with you, you have to show up as you. You have to come out there in your true and all of who you are. That's the only way that your message is going to resonate. And it doesn't matter the structure, it doesn't matter the communication style, because it's yours. And so that's what I like for people to understand, because then that way it takes away that edge, it takes away that nervousness, it takes that way of having to feel like I have to perfect what I'm doing. Just let it be natural, then it's going to flow. And then after a while, you'll start to get more comfortable and you'll start to be able to interact and engage your audience even more as a speaker, just showing up as who you are. So my views are a little bit different. Mine is more of a holistic approach to speaking versus a textbook approach.
And I think most people, when they are decide that they want to speak, they do want to share their story. So everything is about a story. So you shared your story, your backstory about where you started and where you began and where you are now, and you hear your passion. A lot of times people have me speak on branding, marketing, and PR. It's something that I know the back of my hand.
Right.
But if they were to say, oh, I want you to speak on a topic that I'm not familiar with, I'd have to study. I would feel like, this is not really me. And then, of course, the speech would lay flat. But if it's something that you bring your energy, you bring your thing. So a lot of times I'll work with speakers and they'll say, I want to speak. I said, what do you want to speak on? I can speak on anything. And so what I hear you saying is like, no, you just can't speak on anything. You got to show up as you, what it is that you want to speak on, and let that passion really flow, because people will then resonate with you because they hear your passion. So that is so true. So knowing yourself, mastering yourself. And I hear on October 31st, you have this event coming up. Stedman Graham is going to be doing a 2.5-hour workshop. What else is going to be going on? Because that right there is just probably worth the ticket, right?
Absolutely. But for our VIP attendees, we're also going to be, I have some other special guests coming too that I have not announced yet.
Okay. Well, let's you can announce it here. This is why we're doing this little podcast.
Get that all, the contracts in order. But
okay. All right.
But I definitely will. But even just myself, I gotta position myself and put myself out there as well with my business knowledge and acronyms that I have. I'll be teaching on branding and business and positioning, but offline marketing, because a lot of our entrepreneurs now everyone's going to the internet. Now, of course, we need an online brand. However, those checks, the big checks,
when you show up,
those are done offline. Most major business deals, just think about it. For me, for example, for my push planner, it's easier for me to sell 50,000 push planners to one organization, right? Versus me trying to sell 50,000 planners online to 50,000 customers. You think about how much work and effort that takes. So it's a fatter check. You get it all at one time. It's just offline marketing is something different and unique that a lot of people aren't really putting a lot of light. They're not shining a lot of light on it. And so that's what I'll be teaching, positioning our offline brands. And then, of course, my 7 steps to self-mastery, which is going to help us in our business. But if you are a VIP client, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well this morning, but if you are a VIP attendee, you'll be able to sit in a mastermind with me, Mr. Graham, and my special guests and my other speakers. And he's going to coach you one-on-one.
Okay.
Just, you could pick his brain. And the thing about Stedman is he literally goes to each person. That's why I have to keep it at a certain number,
right?
Because he's going to coach each person. And then the next day we'll be doing some more implementation as well. And I have a mental psychotherapist there as well, who's going to be speaking, Mr. Brandon Jones. So it's going to be a really nice workshop where we're actually going to be working on our businesses and really setting some goals and setting some plans and putting some steps in place.
I love that. I like one of the things where you said where you're going to, it's like a workshop. So you're not just coming to hear, but you're actually coming to work and on the business. And that's really, really, really key, because people, and I always say those that show up go up. And we can learn a lot from Google, and we can learn about watching webinars. And I love those things. Even this podcast is great online, but it's more transactional, quicker, with more ease when you meet people face to face. You feel their energy, you can look them in the eye, you really can tell a lot more three-dimensional things that are going on with the person. When they hear your heart, you see their heart, you can really it's really more, I guess you would say it's old school. I mean, sales was my career when I first started. I worked at the Detroit Free Press, so we actually did not do anything. We had to get in the car and drive, and we had to meet retailers all over the state, right? So it was one-on-one. We had to sit with them. We had to hear their pain points. We had to really close the deal, in person. Yeah. Now we probably could have did it over the phone, but I don't think it would have been as successful. So that's why they had these salespeople that were putting their feet on the street. So putting feet on the street is really one of the main things. So how do people actually get to, learn about the Self-Mastery Success Summit and Mastermind? It is a mastermind. So how do they know about that? Where do they go? I know
hopefully there'll be a link under here. You can go ahead and share with them the link if you have it.
Yes, it's a bit.ly link, and it is Ari Speaks, right? Because it's Ari Speakers, right? I'm thinking about your Instagram because that speaks, but it's Ari Speakers for Speakers Magazine, and then Ari is ARI. Really, really easy to spell. Love that name. Ari is really cool. Ari Speakers, and it's a bit.ly, bit.ly/Ari Speakers. And you can find out about it. There's a lead page there where you can learn about it, register. Does everyone have an option to do VIP or not? Or
this type of event, because we're making sure we have some very dynamic men and women in the room, you can't just go on the website and register and just buy a ticket. You do have to apply to attend. So from there, you apply to us, you read all about it, and you say, okay, this is perfect. I have to be in the room. Like I gotta be here. And you hit apply, and you just answer a couple questions about who you are and what you do. And then my team will reach out to you and then pre-qualify you and then schedule you a time to speak to someone from my success team. And then from there, we'll share with you the self-mastery process and then get you enrolled into the program.
I love it. So you have handpicked and selected to make sure that those that are attending are serious. They're serious.
In this world.
I love it. So the first step is really going to apply and have a conversation with someone from Ari's team to really decide if this is for you, if it's a good fit. And it's really at the end of October. It's in ATL. It's in Atlanta. So that is one of the main things that you have to know. So outside knowing the date and the place, then you really just decide whether you want, this is a good fit for you. So one of the things, just knowing, do you want to come and set 2020 on a new trajectory so that you can go into a new space? And she goes over, I told you, she's been a business person where she had a retail business basically for 10 years, where she was dealing with customers, and she's done products, she's done film, she's done books. She's a business coach, and she just loves what she does.
Absolutely. And I would do this for free. I love it so much.
That's really the thing. I tell that to my daughter. When she's trying to decide what major to go in college at Michigan State, I said, what would you do for free? If you would had all the money you want, what would you do, just in your spare time? And she was like, I really like marketing. I'm like, okay, well, that pretty much says it. Don't try to go into law if you don't like law. I mean, don't try to be a doctor just because you think it's a lot of money, because you're going to hate it. So you have to know your passion. You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself. And so I just love it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ari. This has been so good. This is so good. So again, tell them the book so they can get your books too on Amazon or.
Yeah, just go to my website. My website is arisquires.com. I have all my books on my website.
Okay. All right. Good. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being, thank you so much for being part of Speakers Magazine, part of our podcast, and people who want to read her article that she's written. She's written a couple of articles that talk about entrepreneurship and really talking about digital marketing. You can go to speakersmagazine.net and you'll see her pages there. All righty. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Ari.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm Pam Perry, and I'm out.